Zoom, when you're doing a meeting in Zoom, you will be able to go live to YouTube. And what there is something called an API. Have you ever heard of that, Andrea? API? The letter API?
I don't believe I have.
You
Sorry.
haven't. And then what would you do? What do we say in this class? Can we use our computer? Can we go searching? Can we use ChatGPT? Can we use Gemini? Can we use Google in class pertaining to our class? The answer is yes. So if I ask, for instance, something, for instance, called YouTube Live, in YouTube Live, it is what we call an API. So what I ask everyone to do is what? Is look up what does it mean, the letter API. Anytime I'm asking you, then that will be there. Okay. So did you find it, Andrea?
Oh, yeah, sorry. So it says an API stands for Application Programming Interface,
Okay,
and
let's just stop right there. Application Programming Interface. Is Zoom an application? Yes, right? Zoom is an application. What else? You know any other applications? You know application. Is Word an application? Is Excel an application, right? Any type of program is an application. And the second word is program what? What was the I for?
interface
Interface. So we have Zoom, which is an application. And where am I trying to stream to, Andrea? You're doing a great job.
to YouTube.
To YouTube. Is YouTube an application?
Yes.
Yes. So we have Zoom as an application. We have YouTube as an application. And within Zoom, instead of leaving Zoom, I can live stream our class via YouTube and they have what they call an application program interface. Zoom allows for the intersection to YouTube, and YouTube also has basically to be able to connect. That's called an API. So I didn't have to leave Zoom and to go to this. And what's the advantage of live stream? That it's in real time. And we talked about it last time in sharing the screen, right? When I share my screen, what do you see in this case, Andrea?
I can see our Zoom.
You can see our Zoom. Later on, people can subscribe to it, our channel. And later on, Andrea, you'll have your own channel where people can subscribe. You can make it public, you can make it private, or you can make it unlisted. Right now, I'm making it public. Now, what's the difference? You'll notice I use my hands a lot, right? If I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, is it exactly keyed there?
No, it's delayed.
It's delayed. Why is it delayed? It's delayed because there's going to be what? From Zoom, we're using Zoom server, right? We're in the cloud. Zoom is a cloud application too, right? Why is Zoom a cloud application? How do we get to Zoom? We need through our browser an internet connection. And you can see here, Zoom is also an application. In order to jump from one server Zoom to YouTube's server Zoom, do you think it takes time? Yes. So we have delays. For our purposes, it doesn't matter. If we say we want people from around the world to basically view the class, that's good enough. They're 60 seconds. But if we're doing live trading, right, and high frequency trading, Andrea, what's your major?
I'm a legal studies major.
Right, right. So you wanted to do law school, right? Is that kind of the way? So that legal study majors, we can see that as well. Basically, we're having a delay. If you're giving a lecture in the legal process, you want that. But in real time, if you want to hear somebody say guilty, not guilty, you're going to have basically an issue, and especially in trading. Questions on that? Okay, so we have then sharing. And I also then am using MSN Recorder to record and save on my computer, right? So if I ask Gia, why is there an advantage to save on my computer? I'm saving to Zoom's class, to Zoom's server. Why should I bother for myself, save this recording on my own computer? Gia,
Like maybe in case you lose it,
lose what?
the recording.
And how am I going to lose the recording? It's on the Zoom server. What else?
Like
What
if
do
it
you
doesn't,
Go ahead.
maybe if it doesn't like get backed up to anything.
Okay, basically, how do I have to get to Zoom? Could Zoom's server be down? Could I have, for instance, yes, right? If Zoom's server is down, then I don't have it. Also, I have it basically proprietary. So in this case, I have a backup. Have you ever heard of backup procedures? A lot of times, for instance, even on your computer, Gia, you want to have a backup in what they call the cloud in order if you lose it on your computer, vice versa. So those are things that we'll be discussing that we're going to have in every topic. And I have Brandon too. Brandon, are you there? So we have, one of the things is just logging on. You have to be active. I don't know if Brandon's not hearing me. We'll set that up. That's number one. Number two is in the beginning of every class, we have a chat. Many times I'm busy with the chat. People are putting a note, I'm the first time here, I'm not sure when the exam is, whatever there is, or this, I don't know the different, can you repeat again, what is API, things like that. We have the chat, and what I like to do is people volunteer to moderate the chat. What does that entail? It doesn't entail much. It's just open the chat pop-up, and you will see then people asking questions, and then you can interrupt me during the sessions that are appropriate and tell me, Dr. Rush, can you explain again what API is or some of the other questions? So I have, then in my case, I will always have Sebastian, and Sebastian, do you want to put in the chat your email? Sebastian is my teaching assistant for this semester. My teaching assistant from this semester, and he was a student, an excellent student last semester, and he was a teaching assistant in training, basically helping out our TAs, helping students. And he has, if you want, you can take a shot of that or look in the chat and see that that is his email. I'll have Sebastian review the chat, but I always like, and basically with Sebastian, is also have another student moderate with him. Do I have a volunteer just to moderate the chat and let me know? Raise your hand. Okay, Juan Carlos, thank you. So Juan Carlos, do me a favor then. Just look at the chat. If there's anything that's important, we can do it. And that's part of class participation. One of the things is, as I mentioned before, having online classes, it's easy to doze off. It's easy to look at my phone. It's easy to do whatever, but not be engaged. So I'm trying as much as possible to have you engaged. One of the things I also do is I will call on people randomly, or if you raise your hand, I'll call them. That is not every professor's style. That is my style. 1, to get to know you. 2, to see your participation. 3, to help me out. And 4, to make it more interesting. If you don't like that, that is another reason, right? In this case, Andrea, this is what I call the week of the trailer, right? The trailer movie. Everything is not for everyone, right? Some professors I thought were the greatest, where other professors said, oh, they were a pain. I don't want it, too much work for me. So if you're in the class of too much work for me, this also is not in your wheelhouse, as we say. Okay, great. We got that. So I have my recordings. I'm going to also try to do my Sebastian. What else am I missing? I need to
Uh,
promote you, right, Sebastian?
Yeah, you need to make me a co-host.
Okay, so you want to do that, Sebastian? You want to do that right away when when that occurs, that we have, in this case, all my students, I want to promote you, right, Sebastian? So what you need to know is I am the host of Zoom. I have a role that's greater, and then I also can make other participants co-hosts. So I am making, and you'll be doing this as one of your next assignments, is making each other co-hosts. And in this case, it says to me, do you want to make Sebastian Hernandez the co-host of this meeting? Okay. So at this time, do I have Brandon there? Or he came and then he went. So in this case, we'll see if he does that. Sebastian, if you can be so kind for Brandon, just direct message him on if he's here and let him know that. If not, we can remove him. Okay. Next, who is new to the class? Okay. Valentina, you're new to the class. What is your major, Valentina?
I'm a marketing major.
Marketing major. And Valentina, have you ever had any experience with AI, using AI tools?
Yeah,
Like what?
bit in a different tech class, but it was more of a graphic design based
Graphic
class. Yeah,
graphic design. And where did you take that class?
in high school.
Oh, in high school. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Okay, so you have it in that case. Okay. And do you have any other do you have any programming background, Valentina?
No.
Okay, all right. So one of the things you need to do is you need to check on what's new and make sure that you're up to date we have an assignment due for next Wednesday. So you
Okay.
need to be up to date there. Any other people that have not been here last time? And then Mark, what is your major?
I'm also marketing.
You're also marketing. Do you know Valentina?
I do not know
No,
Valentina.
now you know her. Okay, marketing. So when we do projects, a lot of the projects dealing with AI, we're going to do a lot of projects working with AI. And Mark, AI has what I call hallucinations. What
Very
is that,
cool.
Mark?
Hallucinations.
Yeah.
Things that you think you see, but you don't really see.
So is AI the way it is now always accurate?
No.
No. So that's what they call hallucinations, that they basically come up with ideas. If you use ChatGPT or any others, if you start asking a question, it gives you responses with authority, seemingly, but could be completely wrong. And unless you know the topic area well, you can just accept it. So when I was thinking about it, those of you, many of the people were trying to use, some attorneys were trying to use AI, and what happened? ChatGPT just came up with made up cases. So you need precedents, right? So once it made precedents, it just made up cases. They took it to court, and people were trying to look up those cases, and they didn't exist. It's going to get better, but that's where it is. That's why I like marketing for Valentina and Mark, is a lot of times it's basically making up stories, right? Giving images, right? That don't have to be exact, right? In commercials, right? So it basically, you need blog posts, you need to write emails. A lot of times you need to have content, and at that time it can help you. Who else is new to the class? Just two people?
Professor, I just talked to Brandon. He said he's having problems with the audio, but he's trying to fix it.
Okay, great. Perfect. That's what we want to do. Another thing, Sebastian, if when you have those issues, right, you can just direct message those students and see what their issues are, that we know that they're just sometimes, when you log in, and you log off, that image just remains as well. And Pavi, what we need to do, if we look at the whole screens here, and if we look at Kevin and even Ariel, right, that there, it's like the witness protection program, right? That we want to do. And what do we have? Face recognition all the time. And then when I was in physical classes, I said at that time I was early in recording. I was even recording pre-COVID. And some students at that time said they didn't want to be recorded. I had them sit on another side of the class, and I made humorously, I thought it was a joke. If you're in the witness protection program, you can sit over there in the corner. And a student came to me and says, you know, Dr. Rush, you know, privately, I am in the witness protection program. So in that case, we are. But in this class, you are. Also, another purpose, if you are, you know, really sick, you have a severe case of COVID or whatever, you know, you can ask permission to not show your face at that time. Or if you're really feeling horrible, one day I give people the idea that you can say, please don't call on me today. You know, it's a one day, you know, we all have bad days. So it's a one day that you can use. But I suggest the beginning of the class, it's a good time not to do it. And then anyone else, Sebastian, that turns up, you can kind of direct. The same thing with Lucas. You know, why isn't his camera working or audio? And we all have issues. It needs just to be finding out how it can be resolved. Any other comments, Sebastian? Anything else I need to make clear?
No, I'm gonna message them right now.
Okay, thank you so much. And you see how the teaching assistants, I also have teaching assistants in training that help Sebastian. Sometimes how is a teaching assistant in training work is basically they help out as when we get into breakout rooms, when you understand the projects, when we're coming up with new assignments. What I do in this class is I always update this class every semester because especially my focus is in artificial intelligence and tools for business. So we're always trying out new software, new applications, right? Andrea, APIs, right? Application program interfaces. So if you're interested in that, sometimes you'll get the, from our TAs, we have two TAs, Sebastian and Daniel, who is our lead TA, who's been with me now. He took this course last year. We'll come up with new projects and you'll be able, you kind of have the first glimpse of it. So you'll be able to give feedback, you know, on instructions. Sometimes you'll try out the assignment before others. So if you're interested in that, I suggest you do it. Sebastian, why did you agree to be a teaching assistant in training? What was your motivation?
I felt like I was doing good in the class. I actually enjoyed it, and it was perfectly aligned with my schedule. And I said, why not? Let's try it. And I don't regret taking the decision of doing it.
Okay, great. And you can put it on your resume, right? Of getting manager kind of leadership role. Also, if you're interested in it, I get your feedback. It's almost also, I think about it as a peer, that I have the point of view of instructor, Sebastian, and you guys have the point of view of the student. So you can say, you know, Dr. Rush, slow down, or, you know, other students don't want to say that. Can you review more for the test? Whatever kind of feedback, you're in a position that you feel more comfortable. I'm recruiting that, where another student says, you know, I don't want to criticize the student, you know, the professor. I want to get the best grade. So that's it. Okay, anything else? All right, so let's get in there. Also, what I do is at the end of the class, I end early so you can stay with me and ask any questions. And I said, if anything private, I remind me to stop recording. We always have in the recording the need to know. No one has the need to know what is your personal business, what is your grade, other things. Okay, so we're ready to go. Let's hit the road. So I'm going to go share. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to go, now we can see the YouTube. I see this, and this is going to be important. Blackboard is key to this class, or maybe it's not in others. Blackboard is the key. We have the course syllabus, and let me just make clear on the course syllabus, you'll see the course syllabus here. And in the course syllabus, we went over it last time, that my office hours are after this class and also from 7:50 after my evening class. And this is the Zoom link to get into those 7:50 office hours. Also, if you need to see me, it's by appointment. Again, I'm reviewing, you need to, when you contact me via email, a lot of times I like to respond in a timely manner, put in your section. So, the 335, the section H, so I know from which section you're in. We're going to be using the 10th edition. I went over Blackboard is the process. And another thing I just want to emphasize is on exams. I've had a couple of requests here. My exams are in person. They are not online. Everyone, even if you have accommodations that have been approved to take exams, you take it with me. I will give you, if some people need more time on accommodations, you'll let me know, but you take that with me. If you cannot take these exams at these times and you want to remain in the class, you will get a 0 on the exam. Did you understand that, Mark? The first exam is March 3rd. If for some reason you say, hey, you know what, I wanted to go to spring break early, that's fine, but you will get it, and you want to remain in my class, you will get a 0. If that time frame, and I really think there's no reason why anyone should get a 0, basically go to another section where their exams are in different dates. March 3rd is my exam in person. It's going to be in the School of Business on a computer, on the school's computer in 204. My second exam will be on April 21st, also in person in the School of Business 204. We'll review a week ahead of time. We'll be doing a number of activities that we'll cover in those exams. Any questions? Is that clear, Valentina? Perfect. Okay. So in this case, we finished with that. The other thing is, if I had to look at there's so many different sections here, what is the major one that you need to look at in this case? Gia's, which section is most important for students? After they do the Zoom meeting, right, and they've looked at the course syllabus, at the end of the session, we do attendance. What else is the key, Gia?
The what's due.
What's due? Always in the case, you say, hey, what is due? Last time I mentioned do the assignment for today, and somebody came back to me and said, I thought it said in what's due, it's due Wednesday. It was. I just wanted people to gear up on it in case they had any issues. I could give feedback. So the what's due session is, instead of Monday, usually it's Monday to Monday. Since Monday is a holiday, it's Wednesday, and we sign up for Wiley Plus. We have the readings, we have the adaptive assignments, these quizzes. The adaptive assignments is based on how well you do. It has the number of questions you have, and in quizzes, you can take it how many times in this case, Andrea? The quiz
2 times.
2 times. And what counts? What counts? Can you average it? Can you choose what grade you get?
It's your last attempt.
Last attempt. Okay, that's it. And I also asked you to go to the library and basically subscribe, and you get for free as affiliated with the University of Miami, the New York Times and Wall Street Journal for free. Okay, and I asked you to read this article for next week on how are companies using AI agents. Here's a look at 5 early users of the bots. So I give that article as well. All right. And then I have, my role is the instructor is Wiley Readings. What you need to do for Wiley Readings is you need to click on chapter 1. Here are parts of the book, and then you have the adaptive assignments. In this case, if I looked at information systems, I should see the book come up for information system here. And for instance, they're telling me various types of information systems in an organization. Basically, this book is about information systems technologies in organizations. Sometimes the word enterprise is used equivalent to an organization. And we said here that information systems, what is it going to do? That data, we're going to collect it, we're going to process it, we're going to store it, we're going to analyze it. And what do we want to do is disseminate it. So here is the difference between data versus information versus knowledge. And the difference is basically that data many times doesn't give us meaning. Information starts to make more sense. And knowledge is where I can convey and use to others. So knowledge then consists of it being not only organized and processed, but it conveys understanding, it conveys experience, it conveys accumulative learning, and it can be applied. And in this area, we'll see that what artificial intelligence a lot of times and generative AI tries to do is create that knowledge. And then you can see some data. It's talking about some figures here. And when we talk about computer information systems, what do we talk about? We talk about components. One is hardware. You all know what hardware is, right? And basically, in hardware are my laptops, they're my phones. We can think about it as my earbuds, a lot of the hardware where I can touch and feel. I have also, in the hardware, I have one company that's really, have you ever heard in this case, Mark, NVIDIA? If you're going to talk, just
I'm
nod
pretty
your
sure I have.
head. Okay, what have you heard about it? And if you're not sure, what do you think you should do?
Google it.
Right, Google it or do something. As I'm asking you, right? And everybody should be doing that. Andrea as well, and Valentina, is you should be looking up, right? If I looked up NVIDIA, you can see here, NVIDIA Corporation is an American multinational corporation. It's headquartered in Santa Clara. And what's unique about it, it becomes the world leader in artificial intelligence. And if I looked at NVIDIA market value or stock price, let's do that. And let's look at, let's do 1 year. Let's do 5 years. If you wanted to look, Mark, on that trend, do you think the trend is going up or the trend is going down?
Definitely going up.
They're definitely going up. And look, in 2024, it was at $41, right? And now, what did it end now? At $134. And then if I looked at in the past 5 years, it's gone up 2,086%. Pretty good, right? And let's say in a year, it's gone up 141%. Pretty good. So why is it going up so much? What is it doing? And comparing about it is what is the technology here in the news gains, why analysts is basically what? If I think about NVIDIA, why is that going up so much? Who can tell me? Jayan, what do you think? Have you ever heard of NVIDIA?
You said about the recent trends of the stock price?
Yeah, of NVIDIA. Why is it going up? And for the past year, 1 year, 100, what is your major?
I'm a finance major.
Finance major. So do you think that's good if it went up 141%?
Yeah, I do think it's good.
It's mind-blowing. So the question is why? And if you say, I don't know, what do you want to do in this class?
I think it's
Start
because
researching and looking it up. So what did you see, Zach, while I was yapping? Have you been looking it up?
I didn't look it up, but they've just been the leader in AI stuff, right?
Right, stuff. And what stuff is that? AI stuff. That's what we want to do. We want to speak intelligently rather than stuff. What stuff are they doing? They doing APIs? What stuff are they doing?
We'll look
Lucas,
it
what
up.
stuff are they doing?
I think mostly like computer chips and stuff that like helps run the AI.
Right, it's basically what. So look and see what you find. Henry, have you looked and researched on NVIDIA? Why is NVIDIA going up 141%? Everybody's correct that artificial intelligence is kind of their motivator, but what do they give to the marketplace? What are they giving?
Well, they actually have a lot of product lines,
Right.
but they make CPUs, which are used in computers, and obviously computers can be used for just about anything.
Right, they're
They
central
also
processing units, and what else do they produce? They produce something called GPUs. Have you ever heard of that, Henry? CPU is central processing unit. And what
No.
do you think GPU stands for? Processing unit. What's the G
I could
for?
look it up.
Good. That's what we want to do. What did you find, Pavi, about NVIDIA?
So far, I'm just seeing AI, but I'm trying to look
Okay,
up.
but what are their products? Just so far we're seeing AI, but what is beyond AI? Who can, Briggs, did you kind of find out?
It's like graphic cards.
Graphics cards, okay. What else?
There's also something on cryptocurrency mining, which I think could definitely influence the price.
Yeah, what else? Who else is finding something? Just unmic yourself. If you're finding something.
They also make chips for vehicles.
They make chips for vehicles. For what kind of vehicles? Autonomous vehicles, right? What is it? What are right, Andrea? What do autonomous vehicles need?
They need processing units like computers because they're
processing,
computerized.
heavy duty processing, any of that AI, any of those kind of heavy duty numbers. And what's the problem with all this AIs? They say that it really needs a lot of energy consumption. Those servers get really cool. So what is their key here is in what we call the central processing unit, helping the computer. Also graphics. Notice those in marketing, right? All the graphics that it produces. And there's something called neural processing units, NPUs, but it's all basically trying to do what? Compress that processing, that hardware that we're talking about, compress it into faster and faster trillions of commands in the blink of your eye. And they've been in the leader of that. And in the beginning, they started out very slowly, but then it basically, the market said, hey, wow, that is just too much to believe. So those are the areas when I'm sharing then, that's the area when I look at this quantum computing, that basically we're talking about all these monsters stack, right, that you can see here. What is a 5-year forecast? Everybody, can it reach 1,000? Can you imagine that they're talking about the stock market and basically it keeps on, even though when it goes, it's not going to go completely linear, but it's going up, and that's where it's in the news. Okay. So that is the key when you look at that overview of software. That is basically what? So NVIDIA, if I had to ask you, Henry, in this case, NVIDIA, you think it's more of a hardware, a database, a software, or a network company?
I would say it's more of a hardware company
Hardware, right? It's the insides of the car. It's those graphic cards, and now they're actually producing then computers, AI computers, little AI computers about this size, right? Small size, but what? Immense amount of computing power. Because think about it, if you're going through all that internet, what do you want to do? Have you ever used anything in AI, Henry? Any software?
I used Microsoft has this image generator, and so last semester in my what was the course to say? We had to create a like our own product, and instead of
Uh-huh.
actually building a physical product, I just had
Right.
AI generate an image of it.
Right. All that, you want it quick? Can you imagine it producing it so quickly? All of that needs what? That computer, that compression has to have compression of the data and also process that data. And then you can see here that it's based on software, the difference. So if I have the hardware, then I need the software. So ChatGPT, have you ever used that, Henry?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. Is that hardware, software, database, or network?
I would say it's a software that uses
Software program. It's an application, just like we're using
Yeah.
Zoom, just like we're using that Wiley Places software, right? But it uses AI, and the best way it's going to be doing on those servers, right, are basically NVIDIA's the leader in that chip design. Intel has fallen behind where it used to be. Okay, so that is software. Then we have databases. And where do we want to have databases? We have databases everywhere. Databases are what? It's a collection of data where I can retrieve that data. When you think about it, Henry, what database do you think they're using for what purposes in the university? What types of databases? Student database, right? And under the student database is what? Maybe financial database of how much you paid, right? It could be from the registrar, right? Of what your grades and grade databases. It could be in the way that we're thinking about parking, the health center, activities. Where do you live, Henry? Do you live on campus or off campus?
Yeah, I live on campus.
On campus, do you think there are going to be databases of what you have even in the certain dorm you have, right? And the meal plans, all of those are based on databases that we can share. So that's the databases. And then we have a network. Where's there a network? Henry, you're on a roll. A network, where do we have networks on campus?
Yeah, we do.
How? Give me an example.
Well, let me think. I guess I'll just use like the Herbert Business School as an example. Like they probably have a network of databases for like
The network. And a lot of times if you look at this network here, it's a communication. Think about how do we get basically do you ever have to log on and get your Duo? You ever have to put a security code of Duo, Henry?
Yeah, it's really annoying.
Okay, I know. It's annoying to me too. I have to either find my phone. What I have done now too is I got this from the security. I got this little token that sometimes when I don't have my phone and my phone's in another place, I use this token. It is a pain. We'll talk about it. You know what, Henry? I'll invite the director of security from the university. That'll be interesting. And we'll besides grilling him, he's very nice to me, so I don't want to give him too much of a hard time. But we'll ask him, why do we need Duo? Are we going to change this Duo? What are we so scared about? But the university has a network. Anytime you're logging in, where are you logging into, Henry? You're logging into what? University of Miami network, right? And basically, do you think they're tracking you?
Yeah, they definitely
Yes,
are.
they're tracking you. And what are they afraid of? They're afraid of basically bad actors. And do you think with all these students, with all these computers all over the world, all over campus, what do they have? What are they going to get from you? But you know what they do? They love universities, those hackers, and they can be anywhere in the world. Why do they love the university? Because they can put software on your laptop, my laptop, a number of them get into the network and use our laptops to be bots, like soft bots, like robots, to go out and hack other people. They're using our CPUs, just like you said, Henry. It's going to be scary, and we don't even know it. So what the university has to do is all the time they have other software and hardware devices to stop bad actors coming into the university. And what is that? It's a communications network. And it's basically campus wide. Anytime on the network, they do it. And notice at myself as a professor, they provide me hardware, Henry. And before they provide me hardware, for me to agree to get their hardware, what do you think they do? They put on software that's spying on me, that makes sure that no one else is doing it. Some professors, especially in computer science, say, I don't need their computer. They want to do it for our phones as well, to make sure that and there was a big controversy. I'm part of the Computing Advisory Committee, and we told IT they have their intentions to keeping us safe, but what do we have? We have intentions to do our work. So there's always a conflict. Just like you say, it's a pain putting in the duo. It's a pain that they're restricting. There's a pain even on my software. They don't allow me even to download all software. And I said, here, I'm a professor of computer technology. I research it. I advise a number of clients, and you're not letting me download software. So they give me an exception. But guess what, Henry? They give me an exception that I only can download software for 30 minutes at a time. So these are the kind of things that we'll talk about. And this is what we call computer-based information systems. And they have procedures. When someone is hacked, or you get an email that's suspicious and you basically click on the link, there should be procedures on basically rolling back that information that they have a problem with. They have something called ransomware. And Briggs, have you ever heard of ransom? Where have you heard about the word ransom? Have you ever heard about it?
No. Like
Okay,
if
look
you
it
hold
up.
someone for ransom.
What?
I mean, like if you hold someone for ransom.
Ransom, right. Exactly. What is it? Somebody, God forbid, kidnaps you. What are they going to say? They're going to go out to your parents and say what? You want Briggs back?
They
Pay
want
us $1
money,
million.
most likely. Yeah.
Right. And hopefully your parents will say, yes, we want them back, right? They're not going to say keep them. Well, the same thing, they call it, instead of software, they call it ransomware. Just like the term of ransom, let me just write that down. Just like the term of ransom, they're hackers that go into servers, go into companies' resources and take over the computer, take over their hard drives and say, guess what? You cannot use your systems like Blackboard or your financial aid systems or your accounting system unless, what do they want, Briggs? They want some kind of remuneration. And do you think they want US dollars, Briggs? How do you think they want to be paid? They say, put under a tree, put, $10,000 under a tree and we'll, and don't call the FBI. How do you think they want to be paid?
Maybe like cryptocurrency.
Exactly. They say Bitcoin, and a number of companies now have Bitcoin accounts so they can pay off ransomware. And where do they love to do it? In hospitals. Does the University of Miami have hospitals? Does it have a medical center? Yes. And so basically they're invading. So where is that ransomware come up here? Comes up in the software end. So they are trying to do prevention to make sure that they don't. And if they do get hacked, and many of them do, they don't have the proper controls, then I'd say the majority of hospitals, guess what, Briggs? They go ahead and they pay it. Why do they pay it? Because, tomorrow your grandfather has to go in the hospital. Well, sorry, you can't have the surgery because we don't have your basically your information. So this is what basically this was talking about. And if you think about information systems, the way that it's set up, if you look at it, Grace, it's basically, it's accounting, finance, production management, marketing, human resources. This looks almost like the business school of people's departments. So basically, this is called enterprise resource planning system. Enterprise, another word, Grace, for enterprise is what? You got a clue?
Like a business?
It's a bit organization. It's
Yeah.
more than a business. It's basically, think about it as an enterprise is a large organization. Is the university an enterprise, Grace?
Yes.
Yes. So does the university that's have an accounting systems, finance, right? Marketing, human resources, all of that. And then you have, in addition to that, underneath here, you can see these in purple are what we call the IT infrastructure. So it's the IT components, the IT what? Personnel, and the IT services. So if I look at this, who is the director of information systems, IT at the University of Miami? Do we have something like a chief information officer? Anybody have a clue? They're so under the radar, most people don't, right? Raise your hand if you have no idea who the information systems officer is at the university. Right? I think if I wasn't in this business, I wouldn't know either. Because they don't touch me. They don't go out. We know maybe the president, we maybe know the provost, we'll know the dean of our school, right? Everybody's seen the dean of our school. He writes, he, is new. And guess what his thing is too? He's really into thinking that AI is going to be everywhere. He's really a proponent of that as well. So in that case, why am I asking you that? In that case, if we want to say here, who is the CIO, right, of the University of Miami? And you can look it up, right? Can we look it up in our class? Then Valentina, that's how we're doing in our classes. We're looking it up, and here it is already, getting to know the Brad. If we look at it here, this is Brad. Maybe we'll have Brad come in, but here's the biography, but he's the Chief Information Officer. Right? So, and then when we want to think of Brad, University of Miami, his LinkedIn, meet the CIO. And this is of the U, and what do they do here? Here it is of, he put on a suit, he got all this, and I don't even know, but look at this. Here, leadership team, the subjects. Here is IT resources. And what are they in charge? Look at what is the first thing. Artificial intelligence tools at the U. Look at this, Henry. Wireless and wired networks. Isn't that what we talked about? Cloud and collaboration. Storage solutions. Online learning. We'll look at that. You can get free online learning on different topics. For students. IT cybersecurity. Does a lot. New improved features for Office, academic bulletin board, Zoom meeting and webinar service, Zoom bombing, access, analyze, and then he says here, artificial tools at the U. Do they ever, Ariana, what's your major?
Finance.
Finance, okay. And so basically, have you ever heard of him? It's services, maybe to get something out of here, but now we can see, let's look at it. Click here to learn more. So what are they giving now? So I guess they're giving available for and staff, Microsoft AI chat with data protection. What does that mean? That if we're typing, Microsoft is not going to use our data, supposedly. Gemini, Google AI chat with data protection. They have Adobe Firefly, which is AI-powered generated image creation. Apple Intelligence on the Mac, Help Me Write, Grade scope, that's for UMs. What is this? Enhance a student by assisting educator with assessing student work. Design assistant available. Not much. So they're really behind, in my opinion, on using generative AI. They're afraid. They're afraid of what's going to happen with Gen AI. So, but this is information technology. So all those things of services and products. Remember we talked about services? All that IT infrastructure is here. See here, not net software, network, third-party applications, email. That's we get our email from them, hardware and hosting. Okay. And then if I go back to my content, we have the adaptive test that in every class you'll take information systems adaptive test. And my role as a professor, I get a different role. You'll get the test. I get what we call a dashboard, seeing that 18 students have started and 5 have not. So this means what? If we looked at that, Lily, it means then do we have more than 23 students in the class? You think?
Well, with
Participants, right? It says
Yeah.
36. So
36.
right. So in this case, I see the progress of the class. So I know at least 18 have done it. So I know about a little over half the class have at least gotten in there Wiley. This needs to be done by Wednesday. And then if I have students, under students, you see that, Lily? I have seen already Thomas has completed it. Lucas has completed it. Ariana has completed it. Jayan has completed it. And Christian has completed the assignment. So this is a dashboard. I have the need to know what these students are doing. You should have your own. So these are the ways in which we're doing. Next week, let me stop sharing. Next week, we will be creating groups. I'll do it randomly at first. And our first assignments will be looking at collaborative tools. Collaborative tools like Zoom, collaborative tools, a way to record your screen, collaborative tools, a way to communicate. So we'll be starting on Wednesday with another assignment for collaboration. But this first week, since it's adding and dropping, notice here students are adding, I've kind of made sure that everybody gets at least the basics of how this class works. Any questions? Sebastian, how am I doing?
You're doing good, Professor.
Okay. Any questions that you got from the group? Anything that you think you need to emphasize? Sebastian. So
Just to make sure everyone signs up by, if not, I'll just send you guys an email by Saturday, those who haven't signed up, or Sunday. Just make sure by Monday everyone signed up.
right. So we're Monday. We're having class on Wednesday. So this way everyone signs up and you have to be fully registered to this class, right? You have to have not just gotten the link, but you have to be registered because in Blackboard, we'll use your names and IDs to create, I'm going to create another Blackboard site. I'll call it the audit site where you're going to be auditing each other and you'll have the role of teaching assistant. So you'll also learn on Blackboard how to get full rights for Blackboard. That's what we'll be doing as well. So I'm going to end a bit early today. And you see how the class is working. You need to do the what's new, accomplish that, and then we'll meet on Wednesday and we'll be digging in, I'll be rolling up my sleeves, and you'll be rolling up your sleeves, and we'll actually start applying this. Because in my opinion, just reading these books are very boring, and it doesn't come to life. And you're not going out with having skills rather than knowing what an API stands for, right, Andrea? It's an application programming interface, but who cares? If you don't actually see it and maybe actually use it and actually see what that is, okay? So that's how this class is. As I mentioned before, if this is not for you, that's fine too. I will not be, don't worry about my feelings. My feelings will not be a part. And Isabel, how do you pronounce your name? Isabel?
It's pronounced just Isabel. Just
Isabel.
normal.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Isabel will get, if you can't get your computer to work, your monitor there, then go and get an external basic camera. Get a workaround. We always have to do workarounds.
Okay.
Okay, so just saying it doesn't work isn't enough for this class. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen, take attendance. And Andrea, do you want to stay with me after class? We'll just chat too. Okay. And then we'll see. Okay, so I'm going to share. We have the information system. I'm going to go back. And I'm going to go to attendance. I'm going to check into attendance. Start checking. 3086 is the code. Once you sign in, you're welcome to leave the Zoom. We'll see each other next week and do some more exciting issues. And I know everybody can read the book, right? So I'm going to just emphasize things that I think you need to, that are not clear, but I expect everybody to do the readings anyway that you, in your own learning method. Okay? So I'll see you next week. If you have additional questions, you're new, you want to ask something, stay with me now, and I'll answer any questions that you have. So it's 3086 is the code, the attendance. I'm going to stop sharing, and hopefully you'll have a good weekend, a longer weekend, and we'll see each other on Wednesday. Okay? All right, let me
I have a
start.
question.
Okay.
For all of the assignments that are gonna be due, where can I find when they're gonna be due?
Where can she do that, Andrea? It says that. So go to what's new.
In the what's due tab, it should be by weekly assignments. So anything that's under
Oh,
assignment
it's okay.
one, well, if it says January 22nd, which I'm pretty sure is the most recent date where stuff is due, everything that's under that assignment should be done by class time, January 22nd.
And that's gonna update just weekly.
Yes.
Every week
Okay,
I'll unhide
perfect.
assignment one. I mean, I'll unhide the next following assignment and then hide the one that was previous.
Perfect, thank you. And for the group thing, where do I like select or
Don't worry about that. We haven't done it yet.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. But you need to get into Wiley Plus. You need to do those assignments. So that's the key.
Okay, yeah.
All
Perfect.
right.
Thank you.
Okay. And Grace, how can I help you?
Okay, so I did email you yesterday about this. I'm gonna be out of town.
Okay, hold on. Let me stop recording. Nobody needs to hear that, right?
Sorry.
It's okay. All right. Let me get on YouTube too.